Hey 8th graders, the rest of your lesson today is called the Nanospace Phase Change Game. So your learning targets, I can identify the freezing points and boiling points of 9 different substances. In this case, we're going to be examining specifically elements, and we'll talk about those as we move through them. And I can describe what happens when a substance freezes or boils. And you guys can also kind of relate this to something like melting as well, things like that. Okay, all right, so moving on, here are your guys' directions. So first and foremost, you guys need to open up the Nanospace link. So right click that and open the link. It should look a little something like this. Might take a second for it to load. Okay, and then you guys will have, if you have sound, you guys can also mute the sound right down here. You guys will click on the doorway to enter the Nanospace. And then you guys can just follow these directions here. We're going to click on the diamond first and then this little temperature. So here's our diamond. And then we have this little thermometer guy right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on him where he's highlighted. And it's going to take you guys into the activity for the day. So your next page of directions looks like this. It says, you will be finding the freezing and boiling points of 9 different elements. We're actually going to do the first one together, so that will be done for you guys, and you won't have to worry about doing that. So really, you're only finding 8. So use the yellow arrow to drag the temperature up and down. Then use the blue or red arrows to fine-tune your temperature. Once you find the freezing point, you guys will click freeze, and then you will need to find the boiling point. Once you think you have found that, click boil, and then you guys will get a chance to see if you're correct or not. Use the snipping tool to record your results below. Again, you guys might not have a snipping tool, so you guys will need to use your screenshot. Remember, if you're using a Chromebook, you guys will hold Control-Shift, and then you guys will hit the little key right above the number 6. Okay, it's a little rectangle with 2 vertical lines to the right. Okay, then you guys will copy that to clipboard and paste it into this assignment. So you guys will need to do that 8 times. Okay, you will get full credit if you try. So what that means is when I look at your guys' images that you snip, that you guys are within a couple. You're not just going right in, grabbing a random temperature and hitting boil and freeze and then pretending that's your freezing point and boiling point, as it does give you the answer. Okay, so I will be able to see how you were trying by how close you come to the correct answers each time. All right, so let's go ahead and do hydrogen together. All right, so let's open this up. We're gonna go ahead and just click on here. And I would suggest that you guys keep this mute on as it kind of shows you guys, the guy will speak to you guys when there's a phase change happening. All right, so first thing I told you guys to do is use this little arrow to drag it to kind of do a little coarse tuning to get it close to the freezing and boiling point. And then you guys will use these 2 little red and blue arrows to either make it colder and fine tune it 1 degree at a time, or make it hotter 1 degree at a time. All right, so you guys will notice that obviously hydrogen is a gas. There's hydrogen in the air all around you guys. So in order to move it into a liquid state or even a solid state, it's going to take a pretty low temperature, okay? So we can go ahead and look at our boil first, as this is already in our gas. Okay, our boiling point's what moves our liquid to a gas. So that point's going to be also where this moves into a liquid. So we're going to go ahead and do that first, since it's going to be the next phase that comes. So I'm going to click and drag this guy down, and you guys will find that you need to go quite a ways down. So I'm going to say, all right, we're about negatives right here. I can kind of check. There hasn't been a phase change yet. It's still acting like a gas, so I can keep going further. Okay, so we're going to watch what happens. It's kind of moving into a liquid, but I don't think I got super close to it. It's still kind of acting like a... Okay, so that's more like a liquid there, but we can still kind of fine-tune to where we're moving more into a liquid, between a liquid and a gas. Transformation. All right, so that should be pretty fine-tuned. That's kind of the point at which we're moving from a liquid here to maybe 1 temperature up. We're acting more as a gas. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this in as my boiling point. And then I'm going to take it even lower to turn that liquid I just had here into a solid. So I'm going to keep going even lower. So I think, you know, it maxes out pretty low here, so I'm just kind of going to do 1 degree at a time until I get the little transformation of matter. They're looking more like a solid now, so we must be getting close. So still kind of acting like a liquid over here. but we're getting pretty close. Still kind of liquidish over here. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to lock that in at freeze. And then it'll show me, alright, here's your actual melting point was 434. It actually refers to it as a melting point. So that's the point at which our solid turns into a liquid, which is also the same as our freezing point where our liquid turns back into a solid. And then our boiling point is 423. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and snip this right here. I'm going to copy that, and I am going to put it into our PowerPoint. Okay, so I should be able to see here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I just want this little screen. You guys, if you're doing screenshots, make sure you do Control-Shift so I can just get this little portion of the screen. I don't need your full screen. Okay, so go ahead and snip that in, and then I'll be able to see, all right, here's the actual, I was off by 0, so I nailed that right on, but my actual boiling point, I was negative 423, and it looks like I was off by 1 degree there. Okay, so I must have done like 420, negative 422 or 424. Okay, so you guys should be fairly close. Obviously, you'd be pretty good at this if you're getting within 1 degree or getting it right on. So I don't necessarily expect you guys to be able to do that well, but you guys should be able to get within probably 50 degrees at the very most. Okay. All right. So you guys will complete helium. You guys know helium is a gas. It fills balloons. So you guys can go to your boiling point first. And figure out at what point it starts to turn into a liquid, and then do your freezing point to see how cold is it where you guys could take and make gaseous helium and turn that into a solid. Okay, neon you know is also a gas, the same situation there. Silicon is a solid. It's what you guys would see in like a lot of computer microchips, stuff like that. Copper, also a solid. You guys see copper in pipes, stuff like that. So again, figure out at what point we could turn that into a liquid first. So you guys might want to do your freezing point or your melting point first, and then do your point at which you guys could take copper and turn that into a gas, which would be pretty crazy. Krypton starts out as a gas, so maybe do your guys' boiling point first. Gold is a solid, so do your freezing point or your melting point first, and then again find out the temperature at which you guys could turn gold into a gas. It's kind of cool to think about once you guys go through it. Mercury is a liquid, so you guys can choose which one you guys want to do first. You guys are kind of in between phases there. So Mercury is the only liquid metal that we have. And so at what point can we freeze mercury to have solid mercury, and which point can we turn it into a gas, which it's not uncommon to find mercury in a gaseous form. A lot of fluorescent lights used to have mercury in a gaseous form. Okay, and then finally lead. Lead is a solid, so maybe you find your guys' melting point first and then your boiling point. Okay, last little bit. What is freezing point? So give me a definition, but this definition needs to be in your own words. You guys have messed around with this enough. It's the point at which what happens. Okay, and then describe what happens to the molecules as freezing point approaches. What did you observe? And then same thing, what is boiling point? Again, answer in your own words. It's the point at which what happens. Describe what happens to the molecules as boiling point approaches. What did you observe? And then finally, if you guys have any time left over in class, I want you guys to play some games. This is only if you do not have any missing work. You guys should not be in this if you guys have any missing work. So you guys can follow these directions to play this game where you guys kind of make snow cones for people. And then there's this little arcade here as well. Okay, once you guys are done with that, go ahead and hand it in, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.